What is up, guys? Forecastbadan here, and today I have the very first 6th gen battle for this channel. My opponent today is uberisyummy, and my team is a Sun team that I came up with, headlined by Mega Houndooms. Then I have the Helio list to deal with, Rain Dance teams, because that's a pretty natural enemy to a Sun team. And with that Solar Power, it's basically like a choice specs. Then I got the Gliscor for a defensive wall. Then I got Florges for a special wall. This is pretty awesome. Ninetales, of course, instead of the Sun. It's also specially defensive, so I can take hits from stuff like a Polytoad, and in this guy's case, Tentacruel. And then Lilligant, because with that Chlorophyll, it's pretty easy to get up a Sleep Powder and set up to sweep. So, anyways, let's get to it. So I'm going to lead off with my Ninetales. My opponent leads off with the Tentacruel. This Tentacruel checks a lot of things on this team, so I want it dead immediately. So I'm going to switch right into my Helio list to try to take this thing out. Since the Thunderbolt is so obvious, I thought he was going to go into his Garchomp to take it, so I decided to set up the sub instead. Which I guess kind of works in my favor, because having a sub is always good. I'm going to go for the Dark Pulse to try to, again, to predicting this Garchomp to come in, but instead the Ferrothorn takes it. It's not the end of the world, but this Focus Blast that I just missed, that will be key to this battle, because this Ferrothorn does so much damage, and as you'll see later, that Focus Blast could have had so much damage avoided if I just hit. And he's going to protect there to get some recovery with his leftovers. And now predicting a switch into something, I'm going to go into Thunderbolt, which hits the Jellicent, but the Disable takes out the Thunderbolt, which is fine because I'm carrying the Dark Pulse, which does a lot of damage to him, as he just ends up recovering it off though. So for some reason, my opponent decides to switch into his Gengar, as I go for another Dark Pulse, and Gengar does not take that any better than Jellicent did. Now, he's going to go for the Shadow Balls. Either a misclick or he didn't realize that Heliolisk is part normal type. But it's fine, since I misclicked the Focus Blast, I meant to go for Dark Pulse. You'll see, that's not the only time I misclicked Dark Pulse in this match. But the second Dark Pulse will take it out, but not before he takes out my substitute. Now it goes into Garchomp, and I go into my Gliscor to dodge the Earthquake, and because I'm carrying the Ice Fang, I can easily take this thing out. Now, unfortunately though, he switches into his Ferrothorn, which doesn't matter because I missed the Ice Fang. I mean, who misses their Ice Fang? I'm going to protect just to see what he wants to do, and he tries to set up the Leech Seed. So I want this thing gone. I'm going to go into my Ninetales, and he sets up some more Leech Seed. I guess he really likes his Leech Seed. Now, as I said earlier, I want this thing dead, so I'm just going to Flamethrower it as he goes into his Tentacruel. I don't see, it doesn't really matter that much if I went for either the Solar Beam or the Flamethrower. It actually does about the same amount of damage, as you'll see later on. I go to my Florges, who can take almost any special hit this Tentacruel wants to do. Even the Sludge Bomb, I think, Florges can take it. It has a beastly 154 special defense. I'm going to try to take it out with the Psychic, but he predicts that nicely. He goes into his Scizor, as I'm not staying in because I don't want to take the Bullet Punch with Florges. Florges is not very physically defensive at all. So I'm going to go into my Gliscor to take it, who does take that quite nicely. And this Scizor can't touch me at all, so I'm just going to go for the Earthquake, which does 30% to him, not bad, as he just ends up U-turning out into his Ferrothorn. Now I'm actually curious to see what this Ferrothorn wants to do, if he's going to try to set up some more Leech Seeds, which he does. But this time I actually want to see how much damage I can do with the Earthquake, so I'm going to try it. And as you can see, it does absolutely nothing, 29% with the crit. This Gliscor is not going to be my answer to counter this Ferrothorn. So I'm just going to switch back out into my Lilligant, just to see, in case he wants to Leech Seed again. But the Gyro Ball takes me so low, and now that I'm at the range where Toxic will just kill me, and he can just protect to stall, this Lilligant is done. I just Sleep Powder just to do something, I guess, and Lilligant just goes down without even doing anything. Sorry, Lilligant. And Ninetales will come in, and I'm predicting the Tentacruel switch as he did last time, so instead I go for the Solar Beam, which as you can see does absolutely nothing, just 3% more than the Flamethrower does. I might as well just go for the Flamethrower to be safe. But his Skull does nothing. Again, it's especially defensive. Ninetales get in there. And the Hypnosis will put this thing out of the way, and is a huge help to this team. I'm going to go into my Helio list, and I want this thing dead, so I'm going to go for the Thunderbolt as he, I'm going to go for the Thunderbolt to try to kill him. But he predicts that easily and goes into his Ferrothorn, who takes that very well. And this is where the Focus Blast missed from earlier comes into play. I could easily OHKO it with the Solar Power boosted Focus Blast, and if I had done that before, so much could have been avoided. It's amazing. So I'm just going to leave my Heliolisk in to die as he just kills me off with a Bullet Punch. Again, I'm not afraid of this Scizor. My Gliscor can do more than enough. And instead of U-turning, which is actually a very questionable decision, he goes into his Tentacruel, who does not take the Earthquake well. As a matter of fact, it lets me 2-hit KO him. If he had gone for the U-turn instead, then he may have been able to wake up and hit me with like a Scald or something before. But, you know, I guess that's what he chose to do. And as I said, I'm carrying the Ice Fang, but I miss, again, 2 Ice Fang misses. Who does that? How's that even, like, what? And he ends up critting me with the Outrage, but I end up critting him with the Ice Fang to kind of make up for that missed Ice Fang, I guess. I'm going to Protect to get some Toxic Orb recovery, which will put me at a good amount of health where I can survive the next Outrage and finish him off with the Ice Fang again. Unfortunately, though, his Rough Skin actually will kill me off. So now it's basically 2-2, since Ninetales will come in and die immediately. Didn't even get a Set of the Sun after that. I thought it would Set of the Sun before it died, but I guess I was wrong. So in comes Houndoom. I'm immediately going to Mega Evolve and go for the Flamethrower, just destroying this Caesar. He never stood a chance. So now it's all there's that Jellicent left. All I need to do is Dark Pulse. So I decide to accidentally misclick the Dark Pulse and go for the Nasty Plot instead, which was such a bad misclick. I could have had it. I could have won. And instead he ends up taking me out with the Toxic Damage and the Scald. So I'll go for the Moonblast, which doesn't do anything. And he ends up disabling it anyways, so all I have left is the Psychic. And actually realizing that I had misclicked the Dark Pulse, or the Nasty Plot instead of the Dark Pulse, my opponent was gracious enough to actually forfeit the battle and give me the win. So thank you, uberisyummy. The Pokemon community is awesome, and again, you don't see this kind of community elsewhere. Like in League of Legends, World of Warcraft, anything, you don't see this anywhere else but the Pokemon community. So it's a huge thumbs up to the Pokemon community for having something like this, where you obviously would win, but you misclick something and your opponent is gracious enough to take the loss. And again, just awesome battle. And it was also a really close battle too. I mean, it came down to the last 2 Pokemon. That was a pretty good battle. So I guess I'll see you guys later.